Elliot's heart pounded like a war drum as he stood in the shadowed corner of the crowded Brooklyn loft, watching Jasper laugh with someone else. The man's name was Theo, and his easy charm cut through Elliot like a blade. He'd been used before, but this betrayal was a wound he hadn't seen coming. Elliot was 25, a graphic designer with a quiet intensity, his brown hair always a little messy, as if he'd just rolled out of bed after sketching late into the night. He'd moved to New York City from a small Ohio town 2 years ago, chasing a dream of art and freedom. Jasper, 27, was the opposite, a charismatic photographer with sharp cheekbones and eyes that seemed to hold secrets. They'd met at a gallery opening in Williamsburg, where Jasper's bold compliments and lingering glances had swept Elliot into a whirlwind of hope. The loft party buzzed with artists, musicians, and dreamers, the air thick with cigarette smoke and the clink of glasses. Elliot had come at Jasper's insistence, believing this was their night to define what they were. For weeks, Jasper had woven a spell around him: late-night talks in dimly lit cafes, stolen kisses in Central Park, promises of a future where they'd build something real. But now, as Elliot watched Jasper lean closer to Theo, a 28-year-old sculptor with a chiseled jaw and a laugh that filled the room, the truth crashed over him like a tidal wave. Jasper had never wanted him. Not really. Elliot was just a stepping stone, a way to get closer to Theo, the man Jasper had been obsessed with for years. The realization burned. But what hurt more was how Jasper still glanced back at Elliot, his eyes flickering with guilt before returning to Theo's orbit. It was a game, and Elliot was the pawn. He clutched his beer, the cold glass grounding him as memories flooded back. Their first date at a hole-in-the-wall ramen shop in the East Village, where Jasper had traced circles on Elliot's hand, whispering, "You're different. Elle. You make me feel seen." The late nights in Jasper's tiny studio, where they'd sprawl on the floor, sharing dreams over cheap wine. Elliot had fallen hard, believing Jasper's warmth was love. But now, every touch, every word, felt like a lie. Elliot's chest tightened. He couldn't stay here, watching Jasper play his part so effortlessly. He pushed through the crowd, ignoring the laughter and music, and slipped out onto the fire escape. The city stretched before him, a glittering maze of lights and noise. But it felt hollow. He leaned against the rusted railing, his breath shaky, and let the tears come. He'd been a fool, but he wouldn't be Jasper's tool anymore. The fire escape creaked behind him. "Elle, wait." Jasper's voice called, soft but urgent. Elliot didn't turn around. He couldn't bear to see those eyes, the ones that had made him believe in something that never existed. "What do you want?" "Jasper." Elliot's voice was raw, barely above a whisper. "I didn't mean for this to happen," Jasper said, stepping closer. "I swear, I care about you. Theo's he's complicated. I needed to get his attention, but I never wanted to hurt you." Elliot laughed, a bitter sound that echoed in the night. "You used me to make him jealous. You think that's love? You think that's caring?" He finally turned, his hazel eyes blazing. "I deserve better than being your prop." Jasper's face crumpled, but Elliot didn't wait for excuses. He climbed down the fire escape, his boots clanging against the metal, and disappeared into the Brooklyn streets. The city swallowed him whole, and for the first time in months, he felt the weight of his own worth. The next morning, Elliot woke in his cramped Bushwick apartment, the sunlight filtering through cracked blinds. His sketchbook lay open on the desk, filled with drawings of Jasper, his sharp jaw, his crooked smile. He slammed it shut. Today, he'd start over. He met his best friend, Mia, a 26-year-old barista with a penchant for bold lipstick and bolder opinions, at a cafe in Greenpoint. Over steaming lattes, he spilled everything. Mia listened, her dark eyes narrowing as he described Jasper's betrayal. "He's a coward," she said, slamming her mug down. "Using you to chase some fantasy. Pathetic. You're too good for that." "Elle." Elliot managed a weak smile. "I just feel so stupid. I thought he loved me." Mia reached across the table, squeezing his hand. "You're not stupid. You're human. And you're going to find someone who sees you for you, not as a means to an end. Her words stuck with him as he walked home through the autumn streets, leaves crunching underfoot. He stopped at a community art center, drawn by a flyer for a queer artists meetup. Maybe it was time to rebuild, to find people who valued him for who he was. The meetup was in a cozy loft space, walls covered in vibrant murals. There, he met Leo, a 24-year-old painter with warm brown skin and a quiet confidence. Leo's work, bold abstracts in shades of blue and gold, captivated Elliot. They talked for hours, sharing stories of growing up queer in small towns, of art as salvation. Leo's laugh was soft, genuine, and when their hands brushed while passing a paintbrush, Elliot felt a spark he hadn't expected. As weeks passed, Elliot and Leo grew closer. They'd sketched together in Prospect Park, their pencils dancing across pages as they talked about dreams and fears. Leo was different from Jasper, steady, kind, with no hidden agendas. Elliot began to heal, his heart opening to something new, something real. But Jasper wasn't done. Late one night, Elliot's phone buzzed with a text. "I messed up. I miss you. Can we talk?" Elliot stared at the screen, his thumb hovering over the reply button. Part of him wanted to believe Jasper could change, but the stronger part, the part that had found freedom, knew better. He deleted the message and went back to his sketchbook, drawing Leo's gentle smile under the glow of a single lamp. Jasper had used him, but Elliot was no longer his to manipulate. He was free, and he was ready to love again. Elliot's days began to feel lighter, like the weight of Jasper's betrayal was slowly dissolving into the crisp New York autumn. His mornings were now filled with coffee runs with Leo, their conversations weaving through art, identity, and the quiet hopes they both carried. Leo's presence was a balm, his steady warmth a stark contrast to Jasper's fleeting intensity. But Jasper's texts kept coming, each one a sharp reminder of the past Elliot was trying to leave behind. One chilly October evening, Elliot and Leo sat on a bench in McCarran Park, their sketchbooks open as they captured the fiery hues of the sunset. Leo, 24, had a quiet strength, his dark eyes always seeming to see more than he said. His paintings, vibrant and chaotic, mirrored the emotions he kept carefully guarded. "You ever feel like you're running from something, even when you're standing still?" Leo asked, his pencil pausing mid-stroke. Elliot nodded, his gaze fixed on the horizon. "Yeah, I thought I was running toward Jasper, but I was just running." He hesitated, then added, "He's texting me again. Says he's sorry, that he wants me back." Leo's expression tightened, but his voice stayed soft. "What do you want, El?" The question hung in the air, heavy and real. Elliot wanted to say he was done with Jasper, that he was ready to move forward with Leo. But a small part of him, the part still bruised by love, wavered. "I want to be free," he said finally. "Free to be me, without someone else's games." Leo smiled, a small, knowing curve of his lips. "Then be free. You're already halfway there." That night, Elliot blocked Jasper's number. It felt like cutting a tether, both terrifying and liberating. He spent the next few days throwing himself into his art, designing posters for the community center's upcoming queer art showcase. Leo was curating it, and their late-night planning sessions became a ritual, pizza boxes scattered across the floor, laughter filling the gaps between ideas. Elliot was starting to see a future where he wasn't defined by Jasper's betrayal. But Jasper wasn't one to fade quietly. A week later, Elliot found him waiting outside the art center, his leather jacket pulled tight against the wind. Jasper's eyes were red-rimmed, his usual confidence replaced by something raw, almost desperate. "El, please," he said, stepping forward. "I know I screwed up. I was an idiot, chasing Theo when I had you. I see that now." Elliot's heart twisted, but he stood his ground. "You didn't just screw up, Jasper. You used me. You made me believe I was enough, then threw me away for someone else." "I was scared," Jasper said, his voice breaking. "Theo was this unattainable dream. I thought if I could get him to notice me, I'd feel whole. But it's you, El." It's always been you. The words hit like a punch. But Elliot saw them for what they were, too late. He shook his head. You don't get to rewrite the story now. I'm not your fallback plan. He walked away, leaving Jasper standing alone in the cold. Inside the art center, Leo was setting up easels. His sleeves rolled up, paint smudged on his cheek. When he saw Elliot, he grinned, oblivious to the storm outside. Ready to make some magic? He asked. Elliot smiled, the weight of Jasper's words fading. Yeah, let's do this. The showcase was a triumph. The loft buzzed with energy, artists and visitors mingling under strings of fairy lights. Elliot's posters lined the walls, bold and vibrant, while Leo's paintings drew gasps from the crowd. As the night wound down, Leo pulled Elliot aside, his hand warm against Elliot's arm. You did good, El, he said softly. I'm proud of you. Elliot's chest swelled, not just from the praise, but from the way Leo looked at him like he was enough, just as he was. They stood close, the noise of the crowd fading, and for a moment, Elliot thought Leo might kiss him. But Leo just smiled, his eyes promising more to come. The next day, Elliot found a letter slipped under his apartment door. Jasper's handwriting was unmistakable, the words spilling across the page in a frantic scrawl. I know I don't deserve you, but I can't stop loving you. I'll wait. El. As long as it takes. Elliot read it once, then tore it to pieces. He wasn't Jasper's to reclaim. He was his own. And maybe, just maybe, he was Leo's too. Winter settled over New York, blanketing the city in snow and silence. Elliot's life had found a new rhythm, one where Jasper's shadow no longer loomed so large. His days were filled with Leo quiet mornings sketching in coffee shops, evenings lost in deep conversations about art and identity. Leo, with his gentle strength and unwavering honesty, was becoming more than a friend. But Jasper's persistence gnawed at the edges of Elliot's peace. One snowy afternoon, Elliot and Leo were at a gallery in Chelsea, critiquing a new exhibit of abstract sculptures. Leo's eyes lit up as he talked about form and color, his passion infectious. Elliot felt a warmth he hadn't known in months, a sense that he was exactly where he belonged. As they stepped outside, snowflakes catching in Leo's curls, Elliot took a chance. Leo, I think I'm falling for you, he said, his voice barely audible over the city's hum. Leo's smile was slow, radiant. Good, he said, stepping closer. Because I've been falling for you since the day we met. Their lips met in a soft, tentative kiss, the snow swirling around them like a promise of something new. But Jasper wasn't gone. That evening, Elliot found him waiting outside his apartment, his breath visible in the cold air. I saw you with him, Jasper said, his voice low, almost accusing. Leo, right. You're moving on like I meant nothing. Elliot's anger flared. You don't get to do this. Jasper, you don't get to show up and act like you have a claim on me. You made your choice. I made a mistake. Jasper shot back, his eyes desperate. I thought Theo was what I wanted, but I was wrong. I'm here now. El, I'm choosing you. Elliot shook his head, the snow crunching under his boots as he stepped back. You're choosing what's safe now that Theo's out of reach. That's not love, Jasper. That's regret. He turned and walked inside, leaving Jasper in the cold. Upstairs, he called Leo, needing to hear his voice, to anchor himself in the truth of what they were building. Leo listened, his calm presence a lifeline. You did the right thing, he said. You're stronger than he'll ever know. The next few weeks were a whirlwind. Elliot and Leo's relationship deepened, their connection rooted in mutual respect and shared dreams. They spent Christmas together at Mia's apartment, where her girlfriend, Rosa, a 29-year-old chef with a wicked sense of humor, teased them mercilessly about their adorable romance. Surrounded by laughter and warmth, Elliot felt a sense of family he'd never had growing up. But Jasper's shadow lingered. He started showing up at the art center, leaving notes and small gifts, photos he'd taken of Elliot, sketches they'd done together. Each one was a plea, a reminder of what they'd had. Elliot burned the notes, but the memories weren't so easily erased. He began to doubt himself, wondering if he'd been too quick to shut Jasper out. What if Jasper had changed? What if he was sincere? One night, unable to sleep, Elliot wandered to the rooftop of his building. The city sparkled below, a reminder of how far he'd come. He thought of Leo, of the way his laughter filled the silences, of the way his touch felt like home. Then he thought of Jasper, of the pain he'd caused and the love he now claimed to feel. Elliot's heart ached, but he knew the truth. Jasper's love was a reaction, not a choice. He went back inside and texted Leo, "Can you come over tomorrow? I need you." Leo's reply was instant. "Always." Elliot smiled, the doubts fading. He was done living in Jasper's shadow. He was ready to step into the light. Spring arrived, painting New York in shades of green and possibility. Elliot and Leo were inseparable now, their relationship a steady anchor in the chaos of the city. They'd started collaborating on a mural for the art center, a vibrant celebration of queer love and resilience. Elliot felt alive, his art and heart intertwined in ways he'd never imagined. But Jasper's persistence was a storm cloud on the horizon, threatening to unravel everything. One morning, while Elliot and Leo were painting in the art center's courtyard, Jasper appeared. His face was gaunt, his usual swagger gone. "El, I need to talk to you," he said, ignoring Leo's presence. "Alone?" Leo's jaw tightened, but he nodded at Elliot. "I'll be inside," he said, his voice calm but firm. Elliot watched him go, torn between gratitude and dread. "What is it, Jasper?" Elliot asked, crossing his arms. "I've said everything I need to say." Jasper's eyes were desperate, almost wild. "I'm leaving New York. I got a job offer in L.A., but I can't go without knowing I tried everything to fix this. I love you, El. I know I messed up, but I'm begging you give me a chance." Elliot's heart pounded, old wounds reopening. He remembered the nights they'd spent dreaming together, the way Jasper's touch had once felt like salvation. But he also remembered the betrayal, the way Jasper had used him to chase someone else. "You don't love me," Elliot said quietly. "You love the idea of me, the version of me that fits your story. But I'm not that person anymore." Jasper stepped closer, his voice breaking. "You're wrong. I see you, El. I see how strong you are, how much you've grown. I want to be part of that." Elliot shook his head, his resolve hardening. "You had your chance, Jasper. I found someone who sees me for me, not as a means to an end. I'm happy now. Let me go?" Jasper's face crumpled, but he nodded, stepping back. "I'll always love you," he whispered, then turned and walked away. Elliot watched him disappear, a weight lifting from his shoulders. He was free. Inside, Leo was waiting, his eyes searching Elliot's face. "You okay?" he asked. Elliot nodded, pulling Leo into a hug. "More than okay. I'm done with him." The mural took shape over the next few weeks, a riot of color and emotion that drew crowds to the art center. Elliot and Leo poured their hearts into it, their love woven into every brushstroke. At the unveiling, Mia and Rosa cheered from the front row, their pride palpable. Elliot felt a sense of belonging he'd never known, a family built not on blood but on love and acceptance. But Jasper's departure wasn't the end. A week later, Elliot received an email from him, a long, rambling confession of regret and love. "I'm in L.A. now," Jasper wrote, "but I can't stop thinking about you. I'll wait. El. I'll always wait." Elliot read it once, then deleted it. He didn't need Jasper's words anymore. He had Leo, he had his art, and he had himself. As spring turned to summer, Elliot and Leo planned a trip to Big Sur, a chance to escape the city and dream under the stars. They stood on a cliff at sunset, the ocean crashing below, and Elliot felt a peace he'd never known. Leo took his hand, their fingers intertwining. And Elliot knew this was the love he'd been searching for, real, honest, and unbreakable. Summer in Big Sur was a revelation. The rugged coastline stretching endlessly before Elliot and Leo as they stood on the cliff, their hands clasped. The mural they'd created had become a beacon for the queer community in New York, a symbol of resilience and love. Elliot felt whole, his heart no longer tethered to Jasper's empty promises. But the past has a way of lingering, and Jasper's final attempt to reclaim him would test everything Elliot had built. Back in New York, life was vibrant. Elliot and Leo moved in together, their tiny apartment in Greenpoint filled with art and laughter. Mia and Rosa were constant fixtures, their game nights and impromptu dinners a reminder of the family Elliot had found. His graphic design career was thriving, with clients clamoring for his bold, emotional work. Leo's paintings were gaining recognition too, and together, they were building a life that felt like a dream. But Jasper's emails kept coming, each one more desperate than the last. "I'm coming back to New York," he wrote one day. "I need to see you. I can't let you go." Elliot ignored them, but the words stirred something in him, not love, but a quiet fear that Jasper would never let him be free. The confrontation came unexpectedly. On a warm August evening, as Elliot and Leo were leaving a gallery opening in Soho, Jasper was there, waiting on the sidewalk. His hair was longer, his eyes hollow, but his intensity was unchanged. Please," he said, stepping forward. "I know I don't deserve you, but I can't live without you." Leo tensed beside Elliot, but Elliot squeezed his hand, grounding himself. "Jasper, you need to stop," he said, his voice steady. "I'm happy. I'm in love. You don't get to come back and disrupt that." Jasper's eyes flickered to Leo, then back to Elliot. "You think he's better than me? He doesn't know you like I do." Elliot laughed, not bitterly, but with a quiet strength. "You never knew me, Jasper. You saw what you wanted to see. Leo sees meal of me, and I see him." Jasper's shoulders slumped, the fight draining out of him. "I'm sorry," he whispered. I love you." Elliot shook his head. "You love what you lost, but I'm not yours to lose anymore." He turned, taking Leo's hand, and they walked away, the city lights blurring into a tapestry of hope. That night, in their apartment, Elliot and Leo lay tangled in each other's arms, the hum of the city outside their window. "You're my home," Elliot whispered, his voice thick with emotion. Leo kissed his forehead, his voice soft but sure. "And you're mine." Months later, at the Art Center's anniversary celebration, Elliot and Leo stood before their mural, now a landmark in the community. The crowd cheered as they unveiled a new plaque, dedicating it to the power of love and resilience. Mia and Rosa were there, their arms around each other, and for the first time, Elliot felt no shadow of Jasper's presence. He'd heard Jasper had stayed in L.A., chasing new dreams, new people, but it didn't matter anymore. Elliot had broken free, not just from Jasper but from the doubts that had once defined him. He had Leo, his art, and a community that lifted him up. The love he'd found was real, rooted in truth and mutual respect, and it was a love Jasper could never reclaim. As the celebration wound down, Elliot and Leo slipped outside, the night air warm against their skin. They stood under the stars, their hands intertwined, and Elliot knew this was his happy ending, not a fairy tale, but something better, a life built on his own terms, with a love that was truly his.